Hey there! So I did promise in my wrap up, if you have seen that I would be doing this video about the Wayward Children series. Now, I finally decided to read the Wayward Children series recently. That kind of came about as an accident, really. I had a subscription to Scribd, and I thought, I need to get use out of it because I don't really get that much use out of it because I don't really do audiobooks. And I thought, you know what? I need to pick something that I fancied reading. So I was torn. The Wayward Children series or To All the Boys I Loved Before. And I thought, well, you know what? I could probably buy the books of To All the Boys I Loved Before. Wayward Children series, a little bit expensive. Don't want to pay for them. Use Scribd. So I did. And I decided to just binge all 5. And that's what I did over, I think, a week. I think it was about a week. I just listened to the audiobooks for all of them. And I thought, you know what? This is quite a hype series. I am really enjoying it. I am going to rank all of these books. Now, there may be some that surprise people because I enjoyed a lot of the books that people didn't enjoy, and I disliked some of the books people really enjoyed. So it was very confusing and a bit of a mix-up for me because I kind of went into this expecting which books I was going to love, which books I was going to hate, based on what other people said, and I kind of went the other way. So I'm going to go from 5th upwards, and I will tell you a little bit about the books each time. So in 5th place, the worst book of the Wayward Children series, in my opinion, was Down Among the Sticks and Bone. Is that right? Sticks and Bones? Sticks and Bones? I don't know. Down Among the Sticks and Bones. This is the 2nd book in the Wayward Children series, written by Sean Maguire, by the way. Forgot to say that. And this follows the characters of Jack and Jill, who are from a logic-based world, all about vampires and mad scientists, things like that. And I kind of really enjoyed that. And we got to see Jack and Jill on the moors, and this was kind of like a prequel story to the 1st book. And I decided, you know what? I'm excited to read this one. I really like the character of Jack and Jill. I'm going to go into it. And I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. But I didn't enjoy it that much. I kind of got to the end and I just felt a bit like, oh, that's a bit of a letdown. I still gave it a 3-star rating because I still really enjoyed it. But I felt as though it didn't add anything extra. I felt as though we'd learn the backstory of Jack and Jill in a sense of what led them to the Home for Wayward Children. But there was no significant plot, in my opinion. I know a lot of people would disagree, don't come for me, but I think there was a lack of plot that I really enjoyed. It was all about how Jack became the Jack from the 1st book and how Jill became the Jill from the 1st book. And whilst that's good, I wanted more of a story there to kind of show that development rather than just kind of be told about it. And I was just a bit disappointed. It wasn't that bad, but I was just a teeny tiny bit disappointed. So I gave it a 3-star rating overall. Not bad, just not perfect. In 4th place, it's probably the one a lot of people have told me they like near the bottom, so it kind of fits in with this one, and that is Beneath the Sugar Sky. I have spoken to a few people who have said this is one of the bottom books. It's not the bottom book in a lot of my friends' opinions, but it is one of them. And this one is the 3rd book in the Wayward Children series. And this book is set in a nonsense-based world where everything is all confectionery and candy and sweets and sugar. And I can't really go into a detail about what this book is about, but it is about a young girl that appears at the Home for Wayward Children in search of her mother. And the group at the home then go to help this girl find her mother. That is as much as I think I can tell you. But I really enjoyed this story. It was a lot of fun. My issue with it was I have realised I do not like the nonsense worlds. It just kind of felt convenient. Everything was just kind of chalked up to, it happens because it's a nonsense world, and there was no kind of logical reasoning behind anything that happened. Obviously, not going to be the case in a nonsense world, but for me, I just feel as though when everything's passed off as it's because it's in a nonsense world, it just kind of makes me think, well, nothing matters then, does it? There is no consequences, there's no idea behind it. It's just, I'm going to do the craziest thing I can find because I have an excuse and I don't have to explain why. And I don't like that type of writing, so it didn't get the best rating from me. But overall, I really enjoyed the story. I love the characters in this. The characters were fantastic. I think I gave this book a 3.5 rating overall. And I really enjoyed it. All right, in third place, and this is the one which is probably a bit surprising because I think this is a lot of people's favourites, I've put in An Absent Dream. I love this one. It was the fourth book in the series. I thought it was so good. This is, again, a prequel to the first book, and it followed the character Lundy, who was one of my favourite characters in the first book. Also, if you don't know, these books kind of follow different characters and different storylines each time. So some characters appear in future books, some characters do not. And Lundy appeared in the first book, and then we got to see her in the fourth book. And I loved it because she was one of my favourite characters in the first book, and it was so good seeing her like origin story and where she came from. And the world she entered in was so interesting. It was so complex, and I loved learning about it. This is the world I want to go into the most. This is the world that has intrigued me, and even now I still think, ooh, I love that. I loved how it was planned out. I loved how well thought out it was. And it was great. And I do keep thinking about it. I think my main issue with the book, which is not really an issue, is just there wasn't as many characters as I would have liked. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It just kind of focused on a small number of characters. And whilst I don't like big ensemble pieces, the Wayward Children series is one of those where it's an exception. The characters I have come to know and love from other books, such as characters like, if you've read the books, Sumi, Cade, they are two of my favourites. Jack and Jill, Nancy. These are all characters that I really, really have come to love. And when they're not in it, I feel as though the books kind of miss something. So yeah, that's why it kind of got the third place rating for me, but I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the world was phenomenal. My favourite world by far, and I hope that Shauna Maguire takes us back to this world. I really, really hope she does, because I want to learn more about this. And just the story overall, it was very emotional, it was very fun and light-hearted, but it was also quite dark and serious, and it was kind of a really good balance coming after Beneath the Sugar Sky, which is all kind of light and fluffy and fun and bright, and it didn't go straight to darkness, which was quite a good thing. It just kind of had a lot of comedy, a lot of dark moments, but light-hearted moments. It was really good. I loved it. So yeah, that kind of got a third place, and I'm happy with that. Now in second place, and I feel as though by revealing second place, I will also be revealing first place. In second place, I have put Come Tumbling Down. This is the book that my friends all told me was their least favourite, and I would probably like it the least. I loved it. I love the characters Jack and Jill. This story follows, again, Jack and Jill. I know Down Among the Sticks and Bones follows Jack and Jill, which surprised me considering how low that one was. I thought, oh, I'm really not going to enjoy Come Tumbling Down, and I really, really did. This follows Jack and Jill after the events of the first book. So whereas Down Among the Sticks and Bones follows them before the events of the first book, Come Tumbling Down follows them after the events. And I really loved seeing Jack and Jill. It wasn't about the origin story. It was now about how book one had impacted them and the story that followed from where their story ended in book one. And I really loved finding out what happened after the events of book one. And it was really good to see these characters again, because you got to see a lot of the characters from the other books, from the previous book, all the characters from the Home of the Wayward Children. And I love seeing all the characters. I love seeing how they kind of work together and how their relationships are and how they clash and how their dynamics work. And I loved seeing all of that. It was so fun, so interesting, so incredibly dark. But I loved it, and I loved every moment. I think I actually cried in this one. I've never cried throughout this entire series. And then I cried at the freaking last one. It was annoying because I was like, I made it all the way through. And even through book 4, which everyone told me I would cry at, I made it all the way, and then I cried in book 5. But I thought it was great. And I kind of want to visit the world again, but only if there's a good story, because I don't want to kind of overdo the Jack and Jill storyline. I don't want it to just become a bit repetitive. So obviously that means in first place, my favourite book was Every Heart a Doorway, which is the very first book. I think because this first book was where I met all of these characters, where I met Sumi, Cade, Nancy, Eleanor, Jack and Jill, like where I met all of these characters, that it holds a special place in my heart. I love this story. And the first one follows the character Nancy as she is brought into the home for wayward children, and she kind of learns about the reason why this place exists, why all of these other characters are here, where they're all from, where she herself is from. And I loved learning about it. It was the first one. It's the one that kicked it off. This is the book that inspired the other books, and although they're not directly related, and you probably could read them in any order, I don't necessarily think that's true. But I think it's book 1, 3, and 5 that need to be read in a specific order. And book 1 is the one that kicked it off. I loved it. And I don't know what the 6th book is going to be about, but apparently it's not related to that. So as excited as I am for the 6th one, I am also quite concerned, because I love the home for wayward children, and I want to see these characters more and more. And there are characters who I want to explore their backstory, people who we haven't got to see their story yet, and I want to see that. And I just more of these characters. That's all I want, just more of them, because I love every one of them. I love how different they are, but I love how their relationship is. I love seeing them kind of clash and build relationships, and how remarkable that is. Plus, the storyline in book 1, I were not expecting. I did not know that it was going to get dark. I thought it was going to be a cute, light-hearted, fluffy fantasy book that took you to all of these worlds. And I thought that was going to be really cute and easy to read and fun. It got dark, and I did not know it was going to get dark. And I think it was kind of obvious. But I think everyone knows that it's quite a dark series. I just kind of glanced over that. So when it happened and it got dark, I was like, whoa, what the hell is happening? And that moment, that was a turning point where I knew I was going to fall in love with this series. So I think book 1 will always be my favourite. I kind of hope that it's not. I kind of hope other books kind of take over as this series continues. But I'm glad that book 1 is my favourite up to now. So that was just short and light and fun. Just a silly little video where I rank the series. And let me know what you think. Do you agree with my ranking? How would you rank these books if you have read them? And for now, that is it from me. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Subscribe, comment, like, all of those things. You know what to do. Just go ahead and do it. Make sure you comment, because I need comments. They fuel my life. They really do. Leave a balloon in the comments if you're here still. I like these random things. People keep doing them. I don't want to feel left out. I'm jumping on the bandwagon. So leave a little balloon for me, because it's my birth month. I'm showing off. Leave a balloon. And yeah, that is all from me. So until next time, guys, I will see you later. Bye.